So that puts us into the rumor mill, nerds. And this week's rumor mill, we have potentially the reveal of who Giancarlo Esposito is going to be playing in the MCU, plus some more Blade stuff to talk about, as well as potentially crowd-pleasing news for the Star Wars franchise. Potentially.
It's classified.
Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Rumor Mill. You have found the appropriate cheat code to get to the news before it becomes news. Here, we will discuss rumors in the pop culture and nerdy realm of things. Then we will discuss the probability that those rumors are legitimate. And then finally, probably a little bit of my own personal speculation. If you want the more concrete news that has already become news, then there is a full news show over on the main channel called The Week in Nerddom, which you can find linked down in the description, as well as at the end of this video. Now, let's see what all of those rumor mongers have to say, and which of them are just plain full of poop. So, in the rumor mill, normally in the other sections, we start with follow-ups and corrections. In the rumor mill, we follow up with refutations and confirmations. This week, we do kind of have a confirmation in the form of Venom 3. We got that first trailer. We have a little bit of a confirmation for some of the rumors. So the fact that there's going to be more symbiotes in this seems fairly obvious. But that has not been 100% confirmed. It just looks like that might be the setup they're going. We have Jurassic World in this, very potentially being the leader of what was referred to as the jury in the previous leak. That one seems to be confirmed. I'm gonna go out on a limb a little bit and say that that part is confirmed, that we will see a US military-esque group of people who call themselves the jury, who are trying to rid the world of symbiotes. Yes, I think that is very likely. I think also we did hear, what was the other symbiote? I can't think of the name of the green symbiote, whatever. I think we heard his voice, the actor's voice who's going to be inside the suit. I think we heard his voice in this trailer. This has been a little bit of work to get through as far as like what exactly has been confirmed of these trailers, because some of the breakdowns that I've seen, the rumor confirmations that people are pulling out of this trailer, just not there. It's conjecture. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to go on to say that this very likely is happening, but likely and are not the same thing, so still take those rumors with a grain of salt. We do very potentially have Chiwetel. I can never say his name right, and I hate it because he's such an amazing actor. We have him very likely as the leader of the jury. Beyond that, I think everything else is very much grasping at straws as far as confirming these rumors and leaks, because just does not seem to do that yet. I think some of them will get confirmed. I think honestly, of the rumors and leaks that we've talked about surrounding this movie, nope, I thought the name was coming to me, but it's still not. The green symbiote. Of those rumors and leaks, I honestly think that we are not going to be getting the Peter Parker element. Whether or not they filmed it kind of remains to be seen. There's probably going to be a whole lot of stuff that comes out long after this movie has been released about what was left on the cutting room floor. I don't think that the Spider-Man stuff, though, is going to make it into the movie. I will be honestly very surprised, or at least moderately surprised, to hear that they filmed the Spider-Man stuff, the Peter Parker stuff, I guess I should say, because it's Peter Parker as a young child is been what the leaks and rumors have leaned into a lot. I really don't see that crossover happening. If when they recast the role of Venom, Eddie Brock, if that happens, then we will very potentially see a crossover at that point. But to say we're going to see the crossover with this being Tom Hardy's last role as Venom, last movie as Venom, I really don't see that happening. I think they have too big of a setup. You have the extra symbiotes, you have the jury, and you have the Clintar all of them as antagonists to our protagonist, I think that's plenty. You don't need to add that other element of also having Peter Parker. So I don't know, that's just kind of my little bit of a rant while we wait for a little bit more clues. Until then though, let's move into new sources for old rumors. We have a bunch of new sources have picked up, and I don't know which of them are going off of the same information as our previous sources and which of them have new information, but basically they're all saying the same basic thing about Blade, and that is that Mahershala Ali is in fact, I don't know, some of them are saying he's considering leaving, and some of them are saying that he's left because he's taking on a role with the Jurassic World reboot, which I don't know that we've talked about here on the show, but apparently there is a Jurassic World reboot. I don't know, we did talk about it when it was originally announced, I think, when it was originally in the trades. I don't know if it was a proper announcement, but there was trade information, which basically is an announcement. So yeah, Mahershala Ali is, according to rumors, is going for a part in the Jurassic World reboot. Now, just because that's happening does not mean that he's going to be off of this project at all, because Jurassic World, you have a lot of production time that does not involve actors. You have a lot of pre-production, which presumably they've started for it. You have only the primary photography, the principal photography section of production is the only time you really need the actors, except for in post sometimes when you need to do reshoots and stuff like that. But that's like a week at a time stuff. So if you have actors filming for a couple of months and the Blade project is set in this weird limbo for a couple of months, which has kind of been in limbo for a couple of years at this point, which who can blame Mahershala Ali if he is leaving the project? You have, what's another month or so of it sitting in limbo while he finishes contractual obligations for Jurassic World. Like, I don't see that those two are necessarily mutually exclusive. He could potentially do both things. So kind of the long and the short of this one is to say that Mahershala Ali very possibly is putting Blade on the back burner and then looking for a role in the Jurassic World franchise at some point. So no percentages on new rumors for...
Hey nerds, did you miss me? So this is just your weekly reminder to subscribe. That way, he feeds me and we can afford to do basically just the food things, yeah. Food's good. So if you subscribe, all you gotta do is like click that button, and does a lot. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. Just the energy to click a button, which if you don't got that, maybe you should check out the sponsor, because they'll help you with the energy. But either way, subscribe, do the thing. I really appreciate it, because I like food. Yeah, there we go. Let's get back to the news, shall we? Okay, bye.
Our new sources for old rumors. Let's just talk about the new rumors where we can get into the percentages. So we have a couple of pretty decent ones this week. We have some gaming rumors to talk about as well. But our first one is Transformers X G.I. Joe. It's not really versus G.I. Joe necessarily, but it kind of is what it is. So we have Chris Hemsworth is rumored to be in negotiations for the live action movie. If you'll remember, Chris Hemsworth is voicing a young Optimus Prime for the Transformers 1 animated movie. So the rumor does not specify if he's looking to get cast as the voice of Optimus Prime going forward, so in future movies, or if he's going to be one of the live action actors who are going to be interacting with these Transformers in the movie. Does not specify that. I feel like if that specificity were there, it would be a little less likely, because I think what's most likely here is that Chris Hemsworth is going to want to be an actor in it, and I think it seems, I don't know, we're not going to get too deep into the weeds on that, because that's a whole hell of a lot of speculation that's just going to get my brain all twisted around itself. So, likelihood that we have Chris Hemsworth in negotiations to play a part, some part, voice, physical, whatever, in the live action Transformers versus G.I. Joe movie, we're looking at about 70% likely. I think this is fairly strong likelihood because he is doing the voice for Optimus Prime in Transformers 1. I think that's the biggest thing in this rumor's favor. From there, we have a very, very interesting situation in Star Wars. Oh, Daisy Ridley's new Jedi Order movie is rumored to be canceled. Yeah, so there is a lot of people saying that it's been canceled. There is a slightly more reputable source saying it's possible it was canceled, or also possible, equally as possible, according to this source, is that it's just getting a dramatic change. It's going to be dramatically different from what it was originally billed as. So we do know, because as of approximately I think it was 2 weeks ago, Daisy Ridley said that she still hasn't seen a script for this movie. So we have that information. We also have the information that a lot of these sources previously, up until the announcement of The Acolyte actually being released, were saying that The Acolyte was canceled. A lot of these sources were saying that a lot of this stuff that's happening in Star Wars right now wasn't going to happen in Star Wars. So I feel like there's a lot of like information of people going on hopes and dreams. Like, I hope that they're done with this Daisy Ridley stuff. I'm wishing for a day when I can enjoy Star Wars again. And then the reality of the situation being that we're very probably going to see Daisy Ridley in a Star Wars movie going forward. So I think the biggest thing for this rumor is that the one source that says actually it could kind of just be a dramatic shift. I think that's the thing that I'm leaning into the hardest, which in and of itself is kind of a fence riding situation. So we're going to go with a fence riding number and say 50% likely, because this really could go either way. We've heard these kinds of rumors around stuff like this before, and it hasn't ever really come to fruition. So 50% I think is as good as we're going to get on that one. Our next one is a gaming rumor. This starts 1, 2, 3 gaming rumors we're going to be talking about real quick. So the first one is Fortnite, not to be outdone by Mortal Kombat 1. Fortnite is also apparently gearing up for a cross-platform or a cross-promotion, there we go, with The Boys. So we've seen Fortnite leaks before, and basically all of them have come true. Usually, though, they come with some sort of imaging. I have not seen any of the characters from The Boys in the Fortnite style. So that kind of is why we're going as low as we are. But even so, video game rumors usually come to fruition from the sources that I have. So we're going to say 80% likely that The Boys is going to do a cross promotion through Fortnite, because I mean, everyone's working with Fortnite these days. They're a platform, right? Not a game. Our next gaming rumor has to do with Xbox Game Pass, and it's actually very specifically a game on the Xbox Game Pass, which is Octopath Traveler 2, actually, rather, sorry. It is rumored to be heading to the Game Pass service at the end of June. It's not going to be on Core. It will be on the regular Game Pass where you're paying, I think it's $15 a month for it. Again, I'm pretty sure Octopath Traveler 1 has already been on Game Pass, so there's no reason to think this isn't going to happen. 90% likely that we're going to see Octopath Traveler 2 on Xbox Game Pass. And then our other gaming rumor this week is Nintendo related. We have Star Fox in the rumor mill. Star Fox, what Assault specifically, is the game that's in the rumor mill that, if you remember, was a GameCube game. Rumor is that they're going to be doing a remastered version for the Switch sometime before the Switch 2 comes out. And in so doing, they're going to get Star Fox back into the conversation because there is a Switch 2 game also in development. The rumor does not specify what developers are working on these two games, if it's the same developer working on those two games. Because if it was the same developer, I think then it would be less likely that we're going to get both. But because we don't have that information, that kind of lends it a little bit of credibility. But also, Star Fox just hasn't been around for so long. It would make sense that they're doing Assault versus whatever the name of the one that came out on the Wii U, because no thanks. But it's just kind of one of those franchises that's due for this. But this comes from a really, really weak source. That being said, we're still going fairly high because gaming rumors, very rarely wrong. 80% also on this one for Star Fox. When are we going to get a remaster of the first game? That's what I want to know. That's the Star Fox game that I want to play again, because I believe it's on the Nintendo store. Like, I think you can go buy it for the emulator on your Switch, but I want a proper remaster. I think that would be such a cool idea. Anyway, our next one is the Giancarlo Esposito rumor that we've been talking about in the teases throughout this episode. Giancarlo Esposito, the rumor previously, this is a new rumor that's kind of built on the previous rumors. But the previous rumors they're not really rumor necessarily, because it was Giancarlo that gave us most of that information, and there was a little bit of speculation laid on top of it. So the rumor that Giancarlo Esposito has put out there, the information, I guess, that he has put out there, is that he is going to be joining the MCU as a villain in a way that's going to take everyone by surprise. It's not going to be what we were expecting, I think is more specifically what he said. And also it is going to appear, his villain is going to appear in a series as well as a movie or two. I can't remember the exact quote off the top of my head, but it was something along those lines. So, source that I don't normally go to, but this one was just a little bit too juicy to not kind of talk about. But source that I don't normally go to says that the character that Giancarlo Esposito is going to be playing is Bushman, which is in the list of obscure villains in the Marvel in the Marvel universe. I think that's one of the more obscure as far as options go for who Giancarlo Esposito is going to be playing. So Bushman, and then the first time we're going to see Bushman in a movie is going to be in Captain America Brave New World, but it's only going to be like a post-credit stinger or something along those lines. Something very brief was the way it was laid out in the rumor. And then we're going to see him very heavily in season 2 of Moon Knight, which, stick a red flag in that one for a second. Moon Knight season 2 is going to be the season that Giancarlo Esposito was alluding to, and then we're going to see him more proper in something down the road a little ways. So that lines up, the Captain America Brave New World portion of this lines up with what he said, in that we're going to see him sooner than we think. So that lines up. Moon Knight 2 is a rumor unto itself. There has been zero confirmation. Everything we've heard from Oscar Isaac is saying that it might not happen because there's no script. They haven't talked to him about it, XYZ. So it might not happen, but this hinges on that. So will we see Giancarlo Esposito villain in Captain America Brave New World? I think that is the only portion of this that has any legs to stand on. Will that villain be Bushman? I don't think so at all. I wish I had laid this out with percentages for those three things. Captain America Brave New World, that is the most likely. That makes the most sense. Bushman, less likely. Moon Knight 2? Probably not. So if you put those three things together, you get something that comes out just shy of halfway. We're going to say about 35% likely that all three of those things will come to fruition. Will it be some combination of those two? Sure. Will it include Moon Knight Season 2? Possibly, but probably not. Will it be Bushman? Possibly, but probably not. Will it be Captain America Brave New World? Yeah, probably. I think that is the only thing, like I said a couple of times at this point, that's the only thing that makes any sense to me. So that's what we got for the new rumors. Let's talk about a little bit of speculation. We just covered the Giancarlo Esposito stuff. I think there's a bigger... Oh no, we have one more rumor. I'm sorry. One more rumor to get to. This is, and it's because it's hidden inside the notes because I didn't bold it like I do everything else. But we have Jordan Peele reportedly is looking to direct a movie for Marvel. Jordan Peele as a director in the MCU, there's a lot to go on there. So he is a kind of a hot director these days, which for good reason. He's done some pretty great stuff. If you didn't see, now I'm going to brain fart just because words are hard sometimes. I'm going to brain fart the Alien horror movie that he did, but it was fantastic. And then Get Out was pretty good. Get Out felt like an extended, which, I mean, if you talk about the Twilight Zone that he did, it doesn't really connect, but Get Out felt like an extended episode of the Twilight Zone, which is just very, very high praise. Very, very high praise. Especially considering his actual episodes of The Twilight Zone didn't really feel like episodes of The Twilight Zone. So, yeah, I think that Jordan Peele is a hot director, so I think Marvel would be open to the idea of him doing something. Jordan Peele, though, is a director with a very distinctive voice. Not exactly something Marvel excels at. But they have Ryan Coogler, who also does not, I'm not going to say similar because they're two black directors, but there is a common ground there as far as like the voicing of the messaging that they have in their movies. They kind of team up in a way. So I don't know, Coogler just isn't as distinctive a director though as Peele. So I feel like Peele becoming one of the Marvel directors just seems a little less likely. But it's a lot of money, so I think, is he actively courting them? There's a fair bit of stuff that could go either way. I think we're going to lean a little bit past the halfway point. I think this is slightly more likely than not. So we're going to say about 60%, but that is a very cautious 60% likelihood. Because, like I said, I feel like he is too distinctive a voice in the field of movie making for it to really pan out, unless Disney is starting to kind of give a little bit more ground to their directors, which very possibly could be part of their whole course correction situation. So, like I said, plenty on both sides to go around. Slightly more likely than not, though. And that's what we got for the Rumor Mill, nerds. That's everything. Let's keep on going. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.